Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome if you're new. So today we're going to do something a little fun, a little different. And the last time I did this was maybe a couple seasons ago, but with Cold War coming to an end, Vanguard on the horizon, it is finally time to get a verdict on how we are going to be ranking all the SMGs in Cold War from best to worst. So a lot of my decision making is going to be based on user friendliness, convenience, and a little bit of stats also factored into there, because a gun can have amazing stats on paper, but that's not always going to translate to how well it performs in game and how well it is for every single situation, its flexibility, etc, etc. So I'm not here to hurt anyone's feelings. I'm just here to provide my insight on what I believe to be the best to worst SMGs in the game. So if you guys do find today's video enjoyable, make sure to leave a like on it. I really appreciate it, and make sure to subscribe for a brand new around here at 𝗧𝗘𝗦𝗢𝗧 today. Make it official. You already know what to do, man. Vanguard content coming soon. Make sure to subscribe, stay tuned, and let's get on with the video. All right, here we go. It is finally time, man. After a whole entire year of playing Cold War, crunching numbers on these stats, I think it is finally time to come to a conclusion on what is the top tier meta here. Meta, mid tier, and good but not great. So top tier meta, just for definition purposes before we get into this video, this basically means pretty much a weapon that is just convenient, user friendly. The recoil is amazing, great in all types of situations. So that's what I'm factoring here. And as far as meta goes, it's basically the same thing as top tier meta, but there are some situations where it performs the most, but there are some situations where it shines the most, and then there's some situations where it's a little and not that great. So mid tier is it's pretty viable, but it's not going to help you melt your enemies. And good but not great is basically kind of like a one-time thing. It's fun to use, it's pretty rewarding if you do get a lot of kills with it, but when you're faced with all the other weapons here in the upper tiers, you're gonna do good, but you're not gonna do great. So I just wanted to provide some reasoning behind why I'm ranking it here accordingly. All right, so this is in no particular order. I'm just going to be picking here from my list. By the way, this is on tiermaker.com. Went ahead and made it myself. If you want to go ahead and rank these guns yourself, make sure to follow me on Twitter and tag me at @RealTurboMan and send me a screenshot of what you believe to be is your official rankings for this year in Cold War. So all that stuff is going to be in the description down below if you want to go ahead and do it yourself. So let's start off here with the AK-74U. So the AK-74U was one of the more enjoyable guns in Cold War to use. Its TTK was amazing up to that 10-meter range. You're basically going to be melting opponents, but its weakness was that it wasn't really great at longer ranges. But I think I would say, man, this is tough, dude. I think I would say that this belongs in top tier meta. So put it in top tier meta because the pros of it pretty much outweigh the cons. Yes, it's a little weak at longer ranges, but it pretty much shreds, when you're as accurate as possible with it, because the recoil is super easy to control. And also, it's got a fast TTK, like I was saying, up to those close ranges, and the movement is definitely top tier. So that's why I'd rank it top tier meta. It's a very reliable gun, very good and fun to use. So that's why I put it at top tier meta. All right, next up, we've got the Bullfrog. So the Bullfrog, where would I put the Bullfrog? I think I would put the Bullfrog in mid tier. Now, I know, hold the comments. I know there's probably gonna be some hate on it, but let me explain. So the Bullfrog, the reason why I put it in mid tier is that yes, it's actually really fun to use. It's got a great amount of ammo to use, and its recoil is amazing. So it's pretty good for the casual player, but the one thing that's holding it back is its TTK. So its TTK is about, I would want to say that mid-level exception. It's in between very good and, just okay. So that's why I put it on mid-tier. It's not going to absolutely shred enemies. However, it is very rewarding to use. It's got lots of ammo, simple, easy to use, but the movement is not as good as some of these other SMGs that I'm about to show you here when I do my rankings. But I would definitely put my Bullfrog here in mid-tier. But I would definitely put the Bullfrog in mid-tier. Now, next up, we have the KSP. KSP, definitely gonna put that as meta. Not gonna exactly put it at top tier meta. Yes, it does have a really fast TTK. Matter of fact, out of all the SMGs in the game, it is the fastest killing SMG. But the one thing that's holding it back from being top tier meta is that it's a burst weapon. And a lot of people tend to shy away from it because of that, because not most people want to deal with being as accurate as possible with their shot. You know, most casual players don't have time to just sit there all day and improve their aim. So it's a very high risk, high reward type of weapon. So if you're not accurate with it at all, you are going to be punished. And that's all that pretty much matters with the KSP. So even though it's got a really fast TTK, you got to put in the time and the practice to be able to get a lot more accurate shots. Because once you are accurate with your shot, it's going to be very rewarding. You're going to absolutely melt your enemies. I mean, like I said, it has the fastest TTK out of all the SMGs in the game. So that's why I put it at meta. You know, if this thing was fully automatic, imagine, then this would be top tier meta for sure. So it does have some weaknesses to it, but those are not really that bad in the long run. So that's why I'd put it at meta right here. All right, next up we have the Lapa, which was just recently released in season 6. Immediately, it's a no-brainer, dude. We're putting it good but not great. Its TTK is one of the slowest killing SMGs in the game, so that immediately puts it at good but not great because there's so many other weapons to choose from that's going to give you a faster TTK. Not only that, it doesn't have a lot of ammo to it, and its fire rate is relatively fast, so you're already at a disadvantage. You have to outfit the weapon a certain way just to be able to optimize it as much as possible, and to me that's not meta at all. So it's not really viable in a lot of situations either. Yes, it's fun to use, but it's not really that great. So if you're looking to complete your DM Ultra camo challenges, I would see people using this gun just for those purposes, just to get the camo on it, and then after that you're probably not going to touch it again. So it's more of a novelty weapon. If anything, you're not really going to be put in any significant advantages with the Lapa SMG, you know, when there's clearly other weapons in the game that are a lot more viable. All right, next up we have the LC10. Immediately going to put this at top tier meta, and although its TTK is not as great as other SMGs in the game, it's still a very good viable gun to use. There's so much to say about it: the recoil control, the movement and mobility, and the accuracy with it, and also the fact that you can outfit it pretty much any way that you want to. Flexibility in close, mid, long range gunfights. There's a reason why it was nerfed a couple times, and those nerfs in my opinion were pretty much slaps on the wrist. It didn't really do too much to the weapon's effectiveness, and that's why I still consider it a top tier meta weapon. I love using the LC10. I'll use it almost every day if I want to, and yeah, I love the LC10. I'm a big fan of it, and even though its TTK is not that great, it's still a very, very good weapon to use for the reasons I stated earlier. So let me know what you think down below in the comments. Do you think the LC10 is top tier meta? Let me know. All right, next up we've got the MAC-10. I would definitely categorize the MAC-10. I would say the MAC-10 is meta. All right, I would say the MAC-10 is meta. It's got really fast TTK. It's a top 5 fastest killing SMG in the game, and also the reason why it's just meta is because it's got really crazy recoil to it. So the recoil is holding it back. It's only effective at closer ranges, so you're gonna struggle at longer ranges, you know, when you're going up against, you know, ARs or SMGs that have better ranges as well as recoil control at those ranges. So it's still meta in my opinion because it absolutely shreds, it melts. You're gonna win a lot of your gunfights using the MAC-10, but it's definitely not top tier meta. So that's just my input on that one. All right, so next up we have the Milano. All right, so man, the Milano, it's so fun to use. The Milano is so fun to use, but it's not exactly a top tier SMG. It's not exactly gonna melt your opponents, and you know what, oh man, this is tough, dude. I'm stuck between mid-tier and good but not great. Now keep in mind, just because I put in good but not great doesn't mean it's trash. You know, I want to go ahead and clarify that, because there isn't a single SMG in this game that is considered trash. You know, just because it ranks a little lower doesn't mean it's bad. Let's see here. Oh man, this is tough. Okay, I think I would put this in good but not great. So the reason why, the thing that is holding it back the most is the TTK. You know, it's pretty mid-level exception, and you know, it doesn't really melt. It doesn't have that satisfaction, the same satisfaction that you would get if you were using something like the KSP or the MAC-10 or any of these other SMGs here in top tier meta. You know, but this is just my opinion. It's all, you know, really personal preference and just based on experience and also on factoring in the stats as well. You know, the Milano is fun to use, but it's not that great. All right, next up we have the MP5. I would definitely consider the MP5 mid tier. So the MP5 actually has a pretty decent TTK, and it's actually a beast in close range engagements. But you know, after that, outside of mid range and long range, it's not really gonna melt your opponents. The mobility is pretty good on it. It's got a pretty fast ADS regardless of what you put on it, and that's what makes it mid tier in my opinion, but it's definitely not enough to be meta or top tier meta. So I think it belongs in mid tier. And the crazy thing is that it used to be top tier meta when Cold War came out, and then it got severely nerfed, and in my opinion, this is where it stands now, in mid tier. All right, next up we have the OTS-9. All right, so again, I'm gonna put this at good but not great. So the OTS-9, its specialty is up close and personal. Outside of that, it's not really that viable. It's got a really tiny magazine to it. It's got fast fire rate, and then outside of those longer ranges, when you decide to engage in long range gunfights, you're gonna have a trouble with the recoil control. Also, you have to set it up a certain way. You know, you can't really outfit it as much as you would like to, whereas with the AK-74U and the LC-10, you can outfit it however you want to. So that's my problem here with the OTS-9. That's why I put it at good but not great. So you know, it's whatever. You know, the TTK is great, yeah, sure, but it's just not suitable for all situations, not suitable for most people. So that's what, you know, figuring out a meta is. A meta is something that is going to be suitable for everybody and that everybody can enjoy using. All right, next up we've got the Ppsh. Definitely consider this meta. So the reason why I consider this meta is because it was recently buffed. So the task force barrel got buffed recently, and that definitely made the TTK a lot faster. So essentially this puts it at a top 5 fastest killing SMG. Not only that, it also has a pretty decent range to it. So with the range that you get and also the fast TTK, this definitely deems it a meta. Now the reason why it's not top tier meta is the same reason as the MAC-10, is because at those longer ranges, you're gonna have a hard time controlling the recoil unless you're a seasoned Call of Duty player. You know how recoil patterns work. It's pretty easy to control the recoil, but however, for most people, you're gonna have a hard time controlling the recoil on the Ppsh, especially since you have to use the task force barrel in order to take advantage of that faster TTK. So that's why I categorize it at meta. It's very good. You're gonna be melting people with it. It's great at close to medium ranges, but the farther ranges you go out, you're gonna struggle. All right, last but not least, we have the Tech-9. Again, man, this is a no-brainer. We're definitely putting up here top tier meta. The Tech-9, there's so much to say about it. The Tech-9 was pretty much one of those guns in the game where it was pretty much undefeated. You know, when it first released, there was really no way around it. The Tech-9 was something that you were forced to use. That's what made it a top tier meta weapon. Even after these nerfs, it's still a top tier weapon. It's right up there as far as TTK goes, and it's, you know, it's great whether you use it with just a single fire, the burst, or the full auto with the task force barrel, which is what I do recommend because it just fits everybody's playstyle. So let me know down below in the comments what you think of my tier listing of all these guns in the game. Yeah, like I said, you know, feel free to go ahead and rank your SMGs. You know, you can leave it in the comments, or you can tag me on Twitter with your screenshots on tiermaker.com. And yeah, everything down below in the description if you want some information on how to do that. And yeah, man, it's pretty much over, dude. Cold War, we are done. It was a great year. The chapter has been closed, and now we are about to tackle Vanguard, man. We're gonna see what Vanguard has to offer, what's the meta there, best class setups, attachments, etc, etc. So hopefully you guys did enjoy the content, and make sure to leave a like if you did. Make sure to subscribe for brand new around here at TheRealTurboManYT today. Make it official, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Yo, if you guys are always on your computer all day, or you like to game for long sessions, definitely check out GamerAdvantage.com for these blue light blocking glasses. Quite literally the best blue light glasses that you can ever find on the market. Make sure to check out GamerAdvantage.com and just learn more about it, man. There's so many benefits to keeping your eyes nice and healthy. You won't feel that strain at the end of the day, and you'll go to sleep like a baby at the end of the day, and that's the best part. You won't feel tired at all. Definitely check out GamerAdvantage.com. Use code TURBO at checkout.